and I kept doing it. And yeah, I had my ups and downs. Anyway, I'm not going to talk too much about us. Once you join the course, you will understand us even more. And I'm sure our current students can vouch for that. Okay. Okay, now our goal was to build a whole community of poker players, healthy and fun learning, constant support to grow. Reason being, over the course of 12, 13 years that I've been playing, I've seen a lot of people get misled in the game. A lot of people learning incorrectly. A lot of people thinking it's a game of gamble. A lot of people don't understanding the skill element. A lot of people not understanding how to go about the game. No system, because hey, the game is new in India, right? When I grew up, there was no system either. I was figuring out a lot of stuff along the way until I then met some international players, my experience, my learning, all the solvers that came in, the tools that came in, and yeah, here today we have a system, and we're here to help you out and try to help you build a system. Just like trading, in trading you have a system as well. Here you have a system as well, and we're going to teach you the system in due course. All right. So we also have Hina, who's our moderator. I'm sorry, I haven't introduced her yet. She's our moderator, and she's been helping us with everything, and she's a point of contact for us. So if you guys don't reach out to us, feel free to reach out to Hina. I have Nitin telling me I'm 40 years old. Okay, Nitin, that's great. All the 20-year-old women are still running behind this 40-year-old. Anyway, coming back. So we started off the bootcamp in a live setting in Goa, and eventually we moved it to online during this lockdown. Okay. And those are some images from the live setting in Goa. We actually had a place wherein we had housed we had housed 5-6 different campers, and over a course of 5-6 days, and we would just talk poker, talk strategy, do a lot of theoretical learning, and that's the practical learning of it. All right. So we've adjusted the practical learning. We've adjusted the practical learning for the online course because we play online with our campers and stuff. But yeah, that's how we started off in a house. I like to believe it's like the Biocon story, where we start in a garage, but here we had a house, luckily. And just going to run you through some images. That's us in action. You can see the screen. We're talking about theory, and we have our campers there, doing discussions, and we kept it very casual, right? Because our idea is we want learning to be at the top of the to be the biggest priority or the top priority, right? It's not about sitting in a classroom with your textbooks and stuff like that, but it's about imparting our knowledge and experience that we've had, and helping you guys build a structure. And I can safely say, after coaching 27 kids through the bootcamp, including the current batch, we've got great response, which is why we're doing this over and over and over again. And like you see Sai's mentioning that he's a current camper with us. We still have our current guys who joined in on this Zoom call, and you can ask questions to them. I'm sure they'll be ready to answer that. And we have current batch guys, and we have some ex-campers as well. All right. So I'm going to quickly tell you what our philosophy is. All right. So give a hungry man a fish and he will eat for one day. Teach him how to fish and he'll eat for life. Similarly, like driving, like if I drive you to school or drive you to work one day, you'll get to work one day. But if you don't know how to drive, you're never going to get to work every day, right? So our goal is to teach you how to play poker, and eventually you will be able to play on your own. You will definitely need assistance and coaching and just quick discussions. Eventually, it's like cricket. Virat Kohli is still getting coached, right? Although he's the best batsman in the world, he's still getting coached. He still has a coach. He still goes there and trains. Similarly in poker. Similarly in basketball, LeBron James still goes out there. He's the best player in the world. His coach probably is not even close to half as good as him. But his coach knows things that can improve him, right? So a coach's role is to improve the player. A coach's role is to identify mistakes, work with your strengths, and improve you in the long run, right? So that's what we try to do, and that's what we try to impart, so that we can keep improving your games in the long run. And it's not about just being the best player in the world. It's about just getting better than what you were. Okay, so this is our philosophy. And why the Poker Bootcamp? Because it's the first of its kind in India. We focus on structured learning. If you go online, you go on YouTube, you'll find like 100 different articles, 100 different videos. You don't really know which one to take in. It's just a sea of content, right? So what we've done is we've filtered out through that content. We've created some niche content. We've put in some structures and processes that will help you learn poker in a very, very simplified way. Because if I have to give you a starting point, and you guys have to go outside and search for it, you guys are not going to find it very often. So here we give you a starting point, we draw a roadmap for you, and we teach you stuff along the way that is most significant. All right. So what we're going to do is This is something that I want you guys to understand. This is one of the most common mistakes in poker in terms of mindsets. It's not thinking in terms of equities. Now, before I get into that, how many of y'all know what equities in poker is? Type yes. If you don't know, type no. Or you can type a Y for yes, and if you don't know, you can type N for no. How many of y'all know what equities is? Okay, I see some no's, I see
I
some
see we have a
yeses.
mix of answers here.
Okay, great. Not particularly. Yes, chance of winning. Nope, nope. Okay, cool. That's fine. How many of y'all attended our previous webinar? Because we'd explained this there as well, but we're just going to find out. How many of y'all attended our previous webinar? If you did, type 1. If you haven't, type 2. If you attended, type 1. If you haven't, type 2. Okay, so we have a lot of new guys here, which is great. Sai attended first time. Cool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quickly give you guys an input as to what equities are. Okay. Equity basically means your share of the pot in poker. For example, when I have a starting hand, let's say I have pocket aces, and let's say you have pocket twos. What is my percentage of winning in that particular pot, or what is my share of winning in that particular pot? And that's what equities is, right? So when I enter a hand, I have an equity. I have equity in the pot. So with aces, I have about 80% equity. With, let's say, pocket fives against your ace king, I have about 50% equity, right? Which basically means I have 50% chance of winning. And this is proven. This is mathematically proven. It's like heads and tails. It's a coin. It's mathematically proven. And we can't really question this. Excuse me. We can't really question this because this is how the math of the game is, right? So people don't think in terms of equities in poker. It's the biggest mistake. They enter a hand saying, I need to win. I have pocket aces. Pocket aces doesn't lose, so I need to win with my aces. And when aces loses 5 times, they have no freaking clue why it's lost, and they think the site is rigged. They think the RNG is bad. They just think they have bad luck, and all the negative emotions start to come in. But a pro or a guy who understands equities will realize that, hey, I was supposed to win here 1 and 2 times. I was supposed to win here 1 and 2 times. So if I lose 5 times in a row, it's fine. I was still supposed to win 1 and 2 times, right? So similarly, we have preset equities for different kind of hands. And I'm going to talk to you about a little bit about luck and a little bit about variance. Okay, this is one of my favorite topics. Luck in poker. A lot of people come and ask me this question. Is poker a game of skill? Is poker luck? Is poker gambling? How many of y'all feel this way? How many of y'all feel poker is gambling? Give me a yes if you think poker is gambling. Give me a yes, quick yes. If you think poker is gambling, if you think poker is skill, give me a no.
Totally
Totally
not,
not,
totally
totally
not.
not.
No, no, no.
Not. We've got some not, a little bit maybe. No, no, poker is skill. Okay, no, no, never. Yes, no. Hey, Goindi, cool. So let me tell you what I think about this. All right. It's called living under correct knowledge, LUCK. Okay, living under correct knowledge. You know, reason being, it's Gaurav, I'm going to attend to your question soon. Okay, the reason being is if you live under correct knowledge, you know what your equity in a hand is. Simple as that. And then there's no luck involved. Luck is what? Like, look at cricket, right? If an inside edge to the four, I mean, an inside edge and goes to the wicket is one thing. Inside edge to four is another thing. That's lucky for some, unlucky for some, right? For the batting team, if it goes for, I mean, an inside edge that goes to the boundary for the batting team is lucky, but an inside edge that goes hits the wicket for the bowling team is lucky, right? Similarly in poker, when you live under correct knowledge, when you understand equities, there's no luck involved anymore. And then basically in the long run, through a larger sample size, everything gets realized. Everything gets realized, which is what we've been doing for the last 13 years, which is what Tanay has been doing for the last 6 years, because we understand the math behind it. We understand when we're supposed to be winning 8% of the 80% of the times, when we're supposed to be winning 20% of the times. And our goal is to basically get our money in ahead when we have the best equity, right? Or when we have the best chance of winning. As simple as that. To give you a quick example, if I toss a coin 10 times, it might not necessarily come 5 and 5. That doesn't mean that the probability just means that one is in favor. That you change your doesn't mean that you change your decision going forward. Just that the outcome is not in your favor. Similarly in poker, if I have pocket aces, I know I'm going to be 80% against most hands, right? In the long run. So I'm going to be getting it in all in every single time if I have the chance. But if I lose 10 times in a row, doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean that my equity changes. It doesn't mean that I should stop getting in pocket aces, right? Is that clear for you guys? Give me a yes if you understand this, and then I'll move on to is understanding variance and luck. Give me a yes in the comment section. Give me a no. Understood this? Give me a no. Okay, we've hit 100 participants on this, so that's really good. Anyone who hasn't understood yet, I can explain this because this is a very important concept before we get to hand reading. Very important concept before we get to hand reading, right? 1 second, guys. Okay, cool. Yeah, cool. So now what we're gonna do is I want you guys to understand one thing, which we'll teach you later. Ace King versus Ace 5 is as good as Ace King versus Ace 9 in terms of equities. Aces versus Kings is the same thing as Aces versus Deuces. Tens versus Eights is the same thing as Jacks versus Fives. You guys must be looking at me and be like, what the fuck? But the answer is, that's what it is. You know, so when you live under correct knowledge, you will understand that Aces versus Kings is the same as Aces versus Deuces. In the sense, if I have Aces, you have Kings, you have Deuces, it's the same equity. My chance of winning is exactly the same, whether you have pocket Kings or you have pocket Deuces. All right? So similarly, we will be teaching you all of this. We'll be giving you a cheat sheet as to how the equities are pre-decided, so that you don't have to calculate that. And Aces versus Kings is the same as pocket Tens versus pocket Eights. Chirag says Ace King versus Ace 5 is better than Ace King versus Ace 9. Yeah, by about 2% or so, 2 or 3%. And when you start calculating that in the long run, we just look at approximations, because you can't really get to the finest point, because if you start getting to the finest point, you'll not be able to focus on the hand, right? Which we're going to teach you. Cool. So if you guys understand this, then we move on to hand reading, because if you don't understand equities, you're never going to get into hand reading, because you have to understand equities and understand percentages. Okay. So let me give you a similarity. Aces versus Kings is the same as pocket Tens versus pocket Eights. Let me sum this up. If I have pocket Aces and you have pocket Kings, and let's say in another hand I have pocket Tens and you have pocket Eights, the chances of me winning in both hands are the same. It's about 80%. Okay. So we'll give you these cheat sheets in the bootcamp, but understand this. Now let's move on. So basically, when our campers understood this, this is what happened. Okay. When our campers understood this, they came in, they learned, they started thinking in terms of equities. We had a DVD thing, we made final tables in all 3 events. We won 1 trophy, 1 third place, 1 4th place. And it was great to see that our students are doing well. Okay, and all these guys started understanding equities, and it just got better. Cool. So what I'm going to do is, before we get into hand reading, I'm going to show you a quick video from one of our
campers. Hi guys, I'm Radhika, and I'm from Delhi, and I was part of the 3rd bootcamp back in November, and it was one of the best I've ever made as far as poker goes. I also signed up for Coach Goindi and Tanay's online version soon after, and I have been studying poker with them for the last few months. I have to tell you guys that if you guys have the time, which I think actually I'm quite sure you do nowadays, and if you have the resources, and if you have the eagerness and the willingness to grow and to learn and to really get better in poker, then I really don't think you should waste any time and really sign up for this new online module that they're launching soon, because you're not going to regret it, because I don't. I'll see you guys there soon.
All right, that was Radhika for us, and she's been with us since the 3rd bootcamp, and she wants more and more. So, cool.
My name is Abhishek.
Hi guys.
Cool. Now let's get straight to the point. Okay, why you guys signed up and what we're going to be talking about. Is my audio clear? Okay, the video might be lagging a bit, but is my audio clear? Is my audio clear? Just give me a final yes, and then we're going to get straight to hand reading. Distorted. How many of y'all are crystal clear? I like the crystal clear answer. Cool. Yes. Perfect, guys. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna get straight to the point. Hand reading. Okay, why you're present in this webinar. Fine. What we're gonna do is we're gonna be teaching you the process, which is the PBCI formula, which is what we've come together after all these months and years of our experience and of teaching as well. And we've realized that there's a step-by-step process that we're gonna get to. Okay. I'm sure all of y'all have seen this guy on TV. Have all of y'all seen this guy? Do y'all know this? Give me a yes in the comment section. If you know this, give me a yes. Give me a yes. Do y'all know this guy, Daniel Negreanu? Right? What makes him so famous? Have you all seen his video wherein he cracks down on his opponent and says, hey, I know you have king 9, or I know you have pocket aces. Have you all seen that? Has anyone not seen that? If anyone's not seen that, type no. Anyone not seen that, type no. He reads minds.
Sick
Okay.
read. He reads souls.
He reads souls. He reads Ryan. His hand reading. That was interesting. Yes, he's got a third eye. So we're going to teach you how to get that third eye. Okay. We're going to teach you how to get that third eye. For Mohit Kapoor, who hasn't seen Daniel Negreanu, he's one of the all-time. He's everybody's poker idol for most part, and he's been here forever. He's promoted the game, and he's one of the top winning players globally. And
I think he's one of the reasons that there are many poker players today joined the game and jumping in, giving a shot.
So what we're going to do is, if for those who haven't seen it, I'm going to quickly play this video before we get into hand reading. And you can see the comment he had below. You had jacks, you had the best hand then, he had something like 9s or 8s. Did I mention Dan Negreanu can read souls? Okay guys, I hope this video is going to be clear for you, but most of y'all have probably seen it. Don't worry about it. It's just a precedent that we're trying to set.
Daniel is one of poker's biggest personalities, and if he ever wins its biggest event, he'll have to hire another personal assistant just to sign his autograph everywhere.
Good point. He opens under the gun to 44,000 with queen 10 of hearts. He is a fan favorite player, tweeter, blogger, you name it, they love him.
Yeah, but he has been in a bracelet drought. He's only won one since his 2004 Player of the Year summer.
To Pollock now with pocket 9s.
Pollock says he'd rather win the main event bracelet than an Oscar because he could wear the bracelet.
He was nominated for a Blockbuster Entertainment Award in 2000 for End of Days.
You can't wear a Blockbuster Entertainment Award anywhere.
Hey, how you doing? What's your name? Bell. Bell? Nice to meet you, Bell.
Daniel is one of poker's biggest personalities. This guy here, who just committed 1/3 of his stack, plus Daniel Negreanu still to act.
So much to consider. Jacks meekly go into the muck. Daniel folds, give it to Pollock.
Do you accept bribes to see your hand? How much? I got $5 on it. Dan did it for 5 earlier. 5, 10? For each guy. I'll throw in a hug.
Pollock shouldn't show his hand for any price unless it's 7 deuce.
Hi, Dex. One Jack. What's this? 3. Just now? You had the best hand then. Dex? He had like 9s or 8s.
Oh yeah, did I mention Negreanu can read your soul?
Did I mention that Negreanu can read your soul? And we're going to teach you exactly how to read your soul, right? Read someone's soul. Okay, cool. So you saw that Negreanu put him on pocket 9s, and how did he do that? We're going to be talking about the PBC formula. How did he do that? Okay, so now we're going to be getting into the real deal as to why you guys signed up on this. And guys, so here it goes. Okay, so you see this little grid on the side. You get aces, I get aces. Like I said, you get pocket kings, I get pocket kings. How do we differentiate a good player from a bad player? Is the fact that we can narrow down on the hand and we can then build an optimal strategy based on our player profile. Okay. Now look at this grid. Every time we play Texas Hold'em poker, we get a hand only in this grid. There's nothing outside of this grid. So you have all the pairs diagonally, which is aces, kings, queens, all the way up to deuces. And then if you stretch it out on either side, you get the suited hand. So you have ace king suited all the way down to ace deuce, and then you have aces all the way down to ace deuce. So every time you play a hand, every time someone's dealt a hand, you have to choose between one of these hands. So to give you things in perspective, you have 169 starting hands. Okay. So when I look at aces, kings, queens, jacks, ace king, ace queen, ace jack, pocket 5s, pocket 6s, there are only 169 of these hands that you're dealt in poker. So when you start hand reading, you have to figure out that it's only 169 hands. When you take their suits into considerations, the combinations become 1326. Okay. So when you take the suits like ace king suited, all the combinations of ace king suited with the offsuit combinations, then you're looking at 1326. But if you look at just the starting hand, we're looking at 169. So when Negreanu says pocket 8s, he's looking at pocket 8s, which is one of the starting hands out of 169. Okay. So he's going at pocket 8s. But when he says pocket 8s with a diamond and a club, then he's talking about 1326, because then he's taking into consideration the suits. Okay. And the more you learn about poker, the easier it becomes to hand read, and the easier it becomes to narrow down into combinations or starting hands. But this is the starting point. You all must understand that there are 169 starting hands in poker. Give me a yes if you guys have got this. Give me a yes in the comment section if you guys have got this. Okay, the 169 starting hands. Cool. This is something which is simple, something that everybody knows. This is the only, so everything you have to figure out in poker is between the 169 starting hands. Okay. Now let's look at this next question. Cool. Let's look at how we go about hand reading. So we've put in a sample hand that happened. Just have a look at the hand and then we'll get into hand reading. Okay. So ace queen makes it 30 at 5-10 blinds for those who's lagging, and the villain on the button calls with a stack of 1000 to 970. The flop is ace 5-7, ace queen bets, the pot increases to 115, the turn is a 6 of clubs, ace queen checks, villain bets, ace queen calls, the river is a 10 of hearts, ace queen checks, the villain bets, and ace queen calls. Okay. What do you think the villain had? What do you think the villain had? Put it down in the chat section. Ace 10, ace 6, 2 pair. What 2 pair? 5-7, 5-6, 6-7, 6-10, 3-4, 8-9, ace 5, ace 10. There you go. There you go. Okay. Do you see the various different answers? Ace 10, straight, ace 7. There are actually 3 different straights that are possible over here. Right? So when you say straight, what straight are you talking about? 8-9, 6, 4-8, or 3-4. You know, there's so many types of hands. Do you see all the hands you guys are talking about? If I think I can count them out, I'm probably counting about 30 hands already out of 169. Okay? 30 hands out of 169. Now, what is interesting to me is when I ask you guys this question and I see all these answers coming in, I know it's a mistake. So all you guys that have typed it out, it's a lot of times, most of you guys that have typed it out, we probably made a mistake because you guys are not even thinking through the entire hand. Okay. Can we figure out how? Okay, I want to do one thing. Okay, I'm gonna basically get one of you guys online so that we can, for the benefit of everybody else that is tuned in, we can find out how they're thinking about the hand, and then we'll show you how we think about the hand. Okay. Does anyone want to volunteer to come online? Any of you guys who've answered the questions? Does anyone want to volunteer to come online? Just type yes quickly. I'm going to choose one. Yes? Okay, Astik. Sorry, I saw Astik first. I'm going to unmute Astik. Tanay, can you unmute Astik?
Yep, I'll just unmute him.
Yeah, so we're going to get Astik online to see how his thought process is. If he's accurate, not accurate, if he's correct.
Yep, Astik, you're online.
Astik, can you hear us? Okay, I think his mic still, I'm not sure. Okay, cool. Let's move to Nikhil or Deepak. Either one, whichever is easy for you.
We have 3 Deepaks.
Deepak.
Nikhil, you're online.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go for it.
Shoot.
What was your answer, and tell us what you thought about the hand.
He might be on drawing his straight.
Okay.
Like 4-8.
Okay.
Okay.
And
that's it. And then he must not be having any suited connected so that he can be running towards flush, any of the flushes.
There is no flush on the board. There is no flush. I mean,
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
He must not be running towards any of the flush. Like I'm saying that, what possibilities can he be?
Okay.
Then an ace with a kicker like 10s or 10 jacks something.
Okay. So do you think? Do you think you'll call here on the river, or you'll raise, or you'll fold?
On the river, I'll. Depending upon the size, I think he's just doing the min raise. He's just asking value betting. He's doing the value betting on the river. So I'll probably fold.
Okay. The sizing is 125.
Yeah.
Like you can see.
And
okay. So you'll fold this because
so it's a cry call. It's a cry call.
Fold and call are 2 different things. One makes you.
I'll fold. I'll fold.
Take a choice. Stand with it. Take a choice and stand with
it.
Okay, you'll fold. Why? Because you're putting him on
a straight draw.
On a straight draw.
Yeah, means on a straight board, on straight 4-8. like
only on
something
4-8. You're putting him only on 4-8.
4-8
Why,
or
why not
or
8-9?
a pair flush draw, a pair straight draw.
Pair straight draw like
Pair
what?
straight draw is
Means like on a 7-8 or something like that,
So
and he
then,
missed it.
aren't you beating 7-8?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Why would you fold? If you're beating 7-8, why would you fold?
no, I'll fold him. I think.
No,
Means
if you're putting him on
going
if you're putting him on 7-8, why would you fold ace
to,
three?
on 7-8. If I'm putting him on 7-8, I'll be probably calling him only.
Yeah, so make up your mind. One last time, make up your mind. Are you calling or are you folding?
I'm folding.
But you're putting him on 7-8.
No, but now means from the starting, if I'm seeing the hand, I'm not putting him on 7-8. Probably on a straight draw or an two pairs like ace 10, ace jack or something.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, let's run the hand once again. I think
I'm going to run the hand again for the benefit of others. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to run the hand again. Keep an eye. I'm going to run the hand again. Is it clear for everyone?
Bhushi has made a very interesting comment that the villain may not call the initial raise with 4-8-0.
Okay, we get that.
Yep.
Okay, is it clear? Does anyone else want to volunteer? Quick question. Deepak. Okay, get Deepak on.
Deepak.
Yeah, hi.
Yep, you're on.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I will definitely keep him that he's having an ace, and the second card would be from 10 to K. So he's having an ace with a nice kicker.
Okay. Ace with a nice kicker is what? 8, 9, 4?
From 10 to king.
So if he has a 10, then he has two pairs, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
But probably still I would call.
you would call?
Yeah.
You would call by putting him on an ace with either 10, jack, or a king.
But yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
That means you're actually losing to ace 10 and ace king. You're beating ace jack.
Correct.
So out of the 3 hands that you've chosen, you're actually losing to 2. So why would you call?
That's also a point.
Don't worry. This is the most common mistake I see from a lot of people, which is why we're doing this webinar for all of y'all. We're just trying to show everybody the thought processes, like there's a lot of issues that people feel while they hand read, which is why we're teaching you the step-by-step process. Okay, I'm going to take one last viewer. Anyone wants to give it a shot? I see. Yes, Kunal. Let's unmute Kunal. Kunal Yadav. Let's unmute. Yeah.
Kunal.
Hello, sir.
Hey.
How's it going?
Sir, I believe he raised from under the gun.
Okay.
Then, being on the button of villain, he must have called with 9. We have 6, 7, and 5. So we bet 30 after seeing the flop. So we have a good kicker. We have a good kicker and a top pair.
Okay.
He must have called with us with, we can say 9-8 or 10, something like that.
Okay.
And we see when the card comes making a straight on the turn, possible straight, he leads out and bets.
Okay.
That gives us information that he must be on a draw. We can't take him on ace because his button range can be wide.
Okay.
And then on the river, when he sees a 10, he must be very sure about his hand and he leads out again.
Okay.
And then I think our ace is not that good because his button range can be very wide, what I believe.
Okay.
And the table information also.
Okay. Cool. So are you calling or are you reading?
Yes, sir.
Are you calling or reading? I mean, folding.
Sir, looking at the pot and his betting, I'll call, sir. I'll call. 70% time I'll call.
Okay.
He might go for a. It depends on his reputation on the table. How is he doing? Is he calling much hands? He's playing, going into more hands every time.
Okay.
I'll be calling this, sir, for sure.
Okay, cool.
I've seen one trend here. I've seen one trend that people are saying range. People are using this term. I know this is a very common term, but I see everyone just putting a range of cards after seeing the flop, after seeing the turn. People are not deciding or just pre-deciding or fixing a range about his pre-flop action. People are just seeing the flop, turn, river, and then seeing uske paas ye hoga, uske paas ye hoga. So that's one of the second mistakes what I think people do in poker. They see the board and then they decide what cards he can have because like what hits the board.
On the turn, he leads out. That is something giving us information about his hand. Maybe 9-8. Probably he must have thought of 9-8. He checked it for a straight draw. As soon as he sees a 6, 9-8 gets there. Some lower straight get there. But I don't think he'll be calling on the button with 8 for something like that, or maybe 4-3 for that sake.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, cool. So have you guys seen that how there are 3 different thought processes? There's so many different ways people are trying to think in the hand, and there's so many factors some people factor in, and a lot of factors some people don't factor in. Okay, so our goal here is to start showing you what factors to factor in and how we interpret every decision. Okay, so one couple of mistakes that I saw some of the earlier guys do, and is that I think out of all 3, Kunal probably had a more optimal approach because he was factoring a lot more things. But one thing is that when we start the hand, okay, what we do is, let me get to this. We always start the hand from pre-flop, never on the river. I get a lot of people coming up to me and asking me, they're like, hey man, like river pe isne shove kar diya, main call karu kya? River pe isne king jack dal diya, main call karu kya? The board was showing 5, 7, 8, 9. And I can never give you an answer because the whole hand starts from pre-flop. It's not just the river. It's not just the turn. It's not just the flop. The number one mistake I see people making during a hand discussion is they come and they ask me, they're like, hey, I had pocket aces. The board was 6, 7, 8, 9, and he shoved. Like that makes no sense because we don't know what happened pre-flop. We don't know what happened on the flop. We don't know what happened on the turn. We don't know how the action went on the river. We don't know the bet sizings. We don't know the positions. So we can never come to a logical conclusion. So whenever we discuss a hand, we start from pre-flop. Okay, we start from pre-flop. What we do is we basically, the P starts from pre-flop, so we look at every action from the start. So in the previous hand, it will be like I raised under the gun with ace queen, and the button called, the button called, and the flop ran out. Whatever the flop ran out, ace 5, 7. I bet, he called. I bet the amount, he called that amount. The turn was whatever the 8 or 6 or whatever. It went check, he bet X amount, I called, and the river was a jack or a 10, and I checked, and he bets 125 into a pot of 420, and now the action is on me. How do we break it down? So we look at the entire hand from the start to the point where we have to make a decision, because on every street, a check, bet, call, or fold is a decision. Okay, on every street, a check, bet, call, or fold is a decision. So we need to have all the information for that. Okay. Now, Tanay, you want to take down the...
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about pre-flop. Pre-flop is the most important street in poker because this is the only street that you will always be playing. Like you'll 100% of the time be facing a decision pre-flop. So that's why pre-flop is the most important street in poker. And having a range over here, having an understanding of what is happening pre-flop is very vital to go ahead. Otherwise, it all falls like a domino effect. If this is wrong, then the range construction ahead is totally incorrect and it just falls apart. Yep.
Okay. We're actually having queries that we've reached the maximum number of people on the thing and we're not able to add any more people. So I'm just getting it's just heartening to see that there are over 100 people and I've got messages from at least 25 odd people and people are coming going. So that's great. If you guys haven't registered, Hina's going to be putting a link out there. You just register there and we can send you the recordings later. And yeah, so coming back to this, the breakdown. So what happens is we start from pre-flop and then we break down his range. Okay. So except for Kunal, who had an idea of breakdown, nobody really broke down the range. Okay. So look at this. Okay. And then we choose and then we iterate. Now pre-flop action, from pre-flop all the way to the point you have to make a decision. We break down his range into multiple parts. We choose the appropriate hands, and then we iterate this on the flop, turn, and river. Okay. It might sound complicated, but hold on. We are going to show it to you step by step. We would just try to be cool and come up with an acronym, but we're going to just show you step by step. Okay. So the same hand. You guys are all clear with the hand? Okay. Okay. Okay, cool. Now what we need to look at is something called range. Okay. Now when I asked you a question, when I sat down, I was like, how old do I look? And I had answers like, people were giving me answers like 21, 27, 32, 34, 36, 35, 29, 30, right? What does that mean? If you look at the lowest number to the highest number, my range of my age looks like 25 to 35. Make sense? People think I'm anywhere between 25 and 35. That's my range. Yes? Give me a yes in the comment section if it makes sense to you. Give me a yes. Okay? That's my range. Okay? Perfect. Similarly, in poker, a hand that the lowest or the worst hand that a person is likely to play versus the best hand a person is likely to play is called a range. Okay? It's called a range. The lowest hand to the highest hand is called a range. Now, when the person chooses a certain action, his range changes accordingly. Now, if he decides to limp, we can give him a particular range. If he decides to raise, we can give him a particular range. Now, I'll tell you what. When he decides to raise, his range might look a little more like this on the right. Okay? We're looking at baselines. That's why we have the star mark. Guys, we are going to be teaching a lot more in the bootcamp. This is just to give you an idea and perspective. And just to give you an introduction to the chapter, because the bootcamp, we can't do everything in one shot, right? So now let's look at this. When a guy raises, the baseline or the assumption we're going to go with is that he's going to be raising a stronger set of hands. Okay, we're not going to be taking assumptions wherein he can have weaker set of hands. That will come in profiling, tendencies, stack sizes, and a bunch of other stuff, which we will teach you in the camp. But we're going to keep the assumption that he's raising only the strong set of hands. Okay. So when he raises a strong set of hands, you can see on the right, we are going to be choosing hands like pocket aces, pocket kings, pocket queens, jacks, all the way down to sixes. And we're going to choose some hands like ace king, ace queen, ace jack, ace 10, ace king, ace queen, ace jack, ace 10, ace 9 suited, ace 8 suited, ace 5 suited, and king queen all the way. So we're going to basically say that these are the likely range of hands that he is likely to play if he raises under the gun. Okay, depending on player profile. Fine. But if he limps, we are going to be taking away this range, and we are going to be giving the range you can see on the left. Basically, we're saying my assumption is he's not going to limp with hands like aces, kings, queens, jacks, but he's going to limp with hands like pocket nines, pocket eights, jack 10 suited, jack 9 suited, ace 9 suited, ace 8 suited. Okay, all the way up down to ace deuce suited, all the way down to ace 6 off. Is this clear? Give me a yes in the comment section if this is clear.
This is just merely an assumption based on a player, you know. It can be different as per your understanding. It can be different for a different player. So it's just...
Give me a no if it's not clear. Give me a no if it's not clear. Give me a no if it's not clear.
Rahul says perfect. Of course, Rahul is perfect for you.
Give me a no if it's not clear.
Rahul has been with us for the last 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks.
Okay, great. I love it. I love everyone's going with a yes. I love that. Cool. So now let's look at a range. Okay. So now in the previous hand, similarly, when I raise, I have a raising range. Okay. This we're looking at as an opponent, and when I raise, I have a range as well that I'm going to be raising. Okay, which my opponent is going to be trying to put me on if he's thinking at that level. If he's not thinking at that level, the game changes, and then we make adjustments. Like I said in the starting, we make adjustments. But right now we're going with the baseline assumption from pre-flop. So we start giving him an entire range. And the process we follow is the process of elimination. Keep that in mind, guys. It's the process of elimination. So what we do is we create like a funnel structure where we give him a wider range pre-flop, and then we start eliminating as and when every decision starts to happen on the flop, on the turn, and on the river. Okay? And you'll understand why. So we give him the maximum range pre-flop, and then we break it down on the flop, we break it down further on the turn, we break it down further on the river, based on how the action goes. Okay? Clear? Give me a yes if it's clear, because we're going to get to that soon. Give me a yes. Perfect. Cool. I'll see a lot of yeses. Cool. Give me a no if you haven't got it. Give me a no if you haven't got it. Okay, perfect. Got it. All right. So now what we're going to do is it's called the process of elimination. So now my assumption is we're giving a wider range. Okay, we're giving all the possibilities that the guy can have. So we don't look at just one hand. We give him all the possibilities the guy can have. So pre-flop, when you see someone doing something, if he limps, think of all the possibilities the guy can have when he limps, and think of all the possibilities the guy can have when he raises. The more you practice it, the more accurate you will get. The more accurate you will get, the better you'll get at the game. Okay? So now what? Let's get to the turn, which is the B, which is the breakdown. Okay? Now, okay, now let's look at a hand. Okay? Assume the player is raising under the gun. Is everyone familiar with the term under the gun? Assume the player is raising under the gun. Under the gun is basically the first guy that has to act in pre-flop. Okay, for guys who are not familiar with the terms, under the gun is the first one to act pre-flop. So for every guy who's acting pre-flop and who's, let's say we give a guy a range. Okay, let's look at this. He's raised pre-flop. And my assumption is because he's raised pre-flop and he's out of position, which is the first, I'm giving him the range on the right. Okay, which is aces, ace king, ace queen, ace jack, ace 10, all of this. Okay, now let's say now the flop comes out. So he's raised pre-flop. I've given him that range. The flop comes out. Okay. Now the flop is ace, king, jack. Okay. Ace, king, jack. Is that clear, guys? Is that clear? Follow this step by step. The flop is ace, king, jack. Give me a yes. Give me a quick yes. Now when he bets the flop on an ace, king, jack, and when he checks the flop on an ace, king, jack. Now let's look at this a little more in detail. Okay. Again, these are assumptions, guys. We will be teaching you more things. These are just assumptions. Now, when he bets the flop, I can assume that yes, he will be betting aces because obviously he has top set. He will be betting ace king because he has top two. He'll bet ace queen because he has ace and a queen. He'll bet ace jack. He'll bet ace king off. All these hands, pocket kings, pocket jacks, queen 10, king jack, king 5. Okay. So when he bets the flop, I'm thinking this way. I'm like, fine, from all the combinations that I gave him, these are the hands that he will continue betting with. Okay, these are the hands on the left he will continue betting with. Now, when he checks, the assumption I'm going to take is that, okay, out of all the hands that he had, he's going to be checking only hands like king, queen, king 10, king, queen, pocket queens, pocket tens. And he's probably going to be betting aces, kings, ace, king, and all of that. So if you look at it from the left side, from the previous slide, which is pre-flop, look at the previous slide, which is pre-flop, which is the raising range. I've broken it down further into what he checks and what he bets. Okay? What he checks and what he bets. Okay? Queen 10 also he can check. Yeah. That is purely your assumption, Vineet. He can check queen 10 for sure. Like I said, this is an assumption. We further break it down and apply it based on our opponent and based on information we have on our opponent. But this is the process. Okay? This has to be adjusted real time based on our information. I'm just showing you how we do it. So what we've done is we've taken the range and we've broken it down. So my assumption is, okay, out of these hands or these combinations, he's going to be betting these hands on the left and he's going to be checking these hands on the right. Okay, so I pay attention to it. I'm like, fine. In a short way, I'm going to be like, he's going to be betting aces, kings, jacks, ace king, ace jack, king jack, ace 10, ace queen, some number of times, and hands like queen 10. Now, there are speculative hands as well. Like Vineet said, sometimes I would assume based on my opponent, okay, my opponent will not bet queen 10 all the time. My opponent will bet queen 10 all the time. Those come in the speculative bucket. But the idea is process of elimination. So now this is how I've broken down his range.
So I'll just add something here. If you notice this C betting range and the check back range over here, right? If you just add both of them, you'll always see that all the hands sum up to the original range that we came up with, right? So the hands that we're breaking down will be from the original range that we have come up to. There will be no hand that we select that will be outside of this. Like for example, on the river, let's say a 6-6 comes, right? Turn in river like 6-6. So we cannot say that he has 6-5 because we are not marking 6-5 over here, you know, that kind of thing. So when by the river, we'll always have some hands from this set only. It will be a subset of this range. It will not be anything outside of this. Yep.
Yeah. So to give you a deeper perspective, so what we do, queen 10 is there, guys, in the under the gun range, whoever was asking. So what we do is basically we go with assumptions, okay? We go with assumptions based on our players, and then there are deviations. Fine. Let's say some questions are there. I'm going to take questions right after this. Okay, I can take questions on each topic. Fine. Let us say he has some suited, then it's the right time to c-bet no matter it's hit or not because it's flop range. I didn't understand that question, Devendra. I'm sorry. Queen 10 is not in the initial range. PY says Queen 10 under the gun range. Okay, Ashwin, what we're doing is we're looking at a baseline assumption of how we break down a hand. Now, whether Queen 10 is there in the under the guns range is purely player dependent. And that is something we'll teach you how to identify in the bootcamp in the private coaching classes. Okay. That is purely player dependent. But we're looking at a baseline, assuming that we know that Queen 10 is there in his under the gun range because we've seen him play it from that position. Okay. So now when he bets, I'm going to be thinking, fine, he's going to be betting aces. But according to player, depending on player, I will adjust it. Some players will check back aces. Okay. So then I put that in their checking range, saying that, okay, he's capable of checking back aces. He's capable of betting aces. In that case, then I'll put this in both those buckets. I'll put it in the checking range as well. I'll put it in the betting range as well. If I think he can do both options. Okay. Is that clear, guys? If I think he can do both options, I'll put it in both options. Okay.
Yeah, Nikunj, we'll come to that.
We'll come to that, but that again is player dependent. Okay. So we start off with a bigger bucket and then we break it down into depending on the action. If he checks, we decide what hands he's checking. If he bets, we decide what hands he's betting. Okay. Now we go to the next choices.
So here's what we're going to choose from our previous range,
Okay. Choose the hands from the broken down range. Give a frequency to the range. Someone's mic is on.
Yep, it's done.
Nikunj says he will always check pocket aces to trap. Fine, Nikunj, that's information for me. So next time you raise pre-flop and the flop comes ace, king, jack, and you check, I will put aces in your checking range. And if you bet, I will almost never put aces in your betting range because you said you will always check aces. So once I start picking up information on you like that, and when you bet that flop, I know you don't have aces. Okay. So that's where good players balance it out. That's where good players will bet some amount of times and good players will check back some amount of times so that you're always guessing, right? Which is why here it says give a frequency. Give a frequency. You answered that question. You led me straight to this. So then when you get better, you start assuming that a player will bet some amount of times and a player will check some amount of times. So you cannot eliminate it from either bucket. But like if Nikunj says he's always checking it, I can safely assume that if he bets it, he never has aces. Does that make sense, guys? Did you already see the adjustment? Does that make sense? Player profiling.
Add something here.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm not sure who's speaking.
It's me here. It's me here.
Yep. Okay.
In fact, you just said happened to me today. In fact, we had a very early morning session at 9:30. We were playing online on PP Poker, and that's exactly what happened with my aces. And the player put me on a very tight range, and I had position. I was on the button of the aces. The flop was ace deuce 7. I hit my set. I led, and the guy definitely didn't put me on aces. He put me on like pocket 8s, pocket 9s, just ranting on the chat. And it just made me, what you just said, I completely correlate to the fact that mixing up your game is so important today. Just to confuse the opponent, get the upper hand, sometimes get paid out on the aces really well. Yeah, the point's right. Just want to add that.
Sure. I'm glad what we're teaching you could correlate it to actually what happened today. That's great. So imagine what you learn in the bootcamp, bro. Like one topic is what you already saw in today morning session. So imagine what will happen if you come and attend all our sessions in due course.
Okay? I made sure I attend this one, bro. I'm sorry I'm a little late, but carry on, Baba. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks to me for that. And I'm glad we could already add value to you, right? So we'll teach you adjustments later. We'll teach you. So you can only start mixing it up once you understand the fundamentals. That's what we believe in. Okay. Once you understand this, you can start mixing it up. And then as you get more advanced, give a frequency to the ranges based on the action. Like we said, if Nikunj is checking back aces on an ace, king, jack, 100% of the times, I can safely assume that when he bets that flop, he doesn't have it. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Give me a yes. Quick yes or quick Y. Then I'm going to move to the next one. Quick yes. Okay, quick yes. Cool. Is there anyone else who has a doubt? Give me a no if you guys haven't understood it. Give me an N or a no. Give me an N or a no. Astik hasn't understood it. Okay, just type your doubts if you haven't understood it. So Astik, let's say ace, king, queen or ace, king, jack is the flop. And if I give a frequency and I know that my opponent, who is Nikunj in this case, is never, like 100% of the times, he's always checking back aces on an ace king jack flop. Okay. And now let's assume when the flop comes ace king jack and he bets the flop, I automatically know that he never has aces because he's always checking back aces 100% of the times. Correct? According to his player profiling. So you always have to give a frequency as to what the likelihood is. And good players will mix it up. Good players will mix it up. Good players will bet some amount of times and check back some amount of times. So you're always guessing. Okay. So we'll get there later. So you have to give a frequency to ranges based on action, and that will just come with practice. Like whether you give 5%, 10%, that will come with practice, and that will come with just playing, and that will just come with experience. It's no big deal. Trust me. I don't sit and give like exact percentages, but I start thinking like, okay, he's checking back here enough number of times, or he's checking back here a few number of times, and we will be giving you a process. We'll be showing you the tools that you can use where you can then become self-dependent and you can fuck with frequencies. You can give, like you see these green lines here, you can fuck with frequencies and say, okay, I think he's going to be betting like 75% of the times, or I think he's going to be betting 25% of the times.
Can we just go to the chart?
And it's fun because, yeah, I'm just trying to go back.
One previous. Yeah, so I think Mohit asked me a question here. Mohit, this percentage that's mentioned on the bottom right is the percentage of this range that I have marked in Flopzilla, right? That is 7.02% of 100% of all the hands. That means,
which basically means out of
and if you can see, it is like 82.5 combinations in the pre-flop range.
Yeah,
so considering that ace king and jack have been dead.
Okay, so basically out of all the possibilities of hands, 7% of the hands look like this. In the sense, out of the 1, 3, 2, 6 hands, this is what 7% looks like. Okay. The rest of it is all junk, like hands like 10-4, 10-6, jack-6, queen-6. In the long run, when you play those hands, you're going to lose money. Like good players in the long run play only about 20 to 25% of their hands, and the top 20 to 25%. And the mixing up factor is when they play 1 or 2 bad hands, and that also they played because they know how to break down hands. So when they're more confident and more comfortable, like if I'm playing a guy who has no idea about range, I'll play way wider because I know my ability to narrow down on his range will be way more, my edge will be way higher because I can narrow down on his range and he has absolutely no idea what I'm doing, right? So that's how we decide on how we basically want to play our opponents. And that's how we decide if our opponent knows range, knows how to construct a range. If he knows how to construct a range, I change my strategy, which again will teach you, right?
Okay.
Is this clear?
Yeah, Mohit, this percentage that you can see 50 and 20 over here with the green and blue line, blue dash, it's like this hand, like king queen suited, I've marked with a green dash. I would c-bet half of the time. Like sometimes I'll c-bet, sometimes I'll not c-bet. And if you see this hand like 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s with a frequency of 20%, so I might c-bet this with a frequency of 20%, maybe in 1 in 5 hands on this board, right? So more often than not, I am checking it, but sometimes, like very rarely, I am feeling like c-betting this that way. So that's why I've marked the frequency over there. This is the meaning of choices, right? When a player wants to choose to do a certain action with a certain hand, we assign a frequency to it. If you can see, can you add this one more image on the side, the checking range? So if you can see here, Queen Jack and King 10 suited, right? It's checked back some number of times that way. And if you see Queen 10, I'm always c-betting Queen 10. Some people can do it with some frequency, but if you ask me as a player, I'll always start betting it. Right? That's why I've not given any frequency.
So don't worry about this. It's just the process of elimination. So from pre-flop, we start with a wider hand. We start giving them all the possibilities. And then based on what action they take, depending on the board, we start breaking it down. So let's say if the flop comes out 6, 7, 10, okay? And now my opponent, Nikunj, let's ask Nikunj this, okay? Nikunj, let's say on a 6, 7, 10 flop, will you bet aces? You said you won't bet on an ace, king, jack board. But on a 6, 7, 10, will you bet aces? Nikunj, can you say yes or no in the comment section? Real quick, if you're listening to us. Have we lost him? No, you said no. So you're betting aces on a 6, 7, 10 flop, right? You're betting aces? Is that what you're telling everybody?
That's
correct?
What he says, yes.
Okay, cool. There you go. Now you see Nikunj is saying that he bets aces on 6, 7, 10 flop, but he checks back aces on an ace, king, jack board. Okay, now the way I'm going to be thinking about this is when I know this, and when Nikunj checks back ace king jack, I'm going to give him aces in his checking range. But when he bets on a 6-7 deuce, I'm going to be giving him aces in his betting range. Did you understand the difference? Did you understand the difference? Guys, did you understand that key difference? Yeah? When he checks the flop of ace king jack, I'm going to still keep aces in his likelihood of hands that he shows up with. If he bets a flop of ace king jack, I am going to remove the likelihood of aces that he has. And on a 6, 7, 10 flop, if he bets, I am going to be giving him the likelihood of him having aces. But if he checks back, I know he doesn't have aces because he's not checking back a 6, 7 deuce flop. So I swap the combinations according to the action. Got it? Cool. So as we learn more and more in the classes, we will be looking at different situations, different kinds of players, different stack depths and positions. This is just a very, very basic starting point for all of y'all who don't understand how to go about a hand, you know? So it's not about soul reading. It's not about reading minds or reading souls. It's about just simply understanding what options people use with what kind of hands. Okay. So now that's how I narrow down on people's hands. When people either check or bet or raise, I break it down into possibilities. What hands is he raising with? What hands is he checking with? And what hands is he betting with compared to his initial range? And now when pros are thinking on the river, I'm sure you guys have faced a situation where there's an all-in and you see a pro just in the tank. He's thinking for 2-3 minutes. But when I see newbies coming in and playing on the live stream, they're thinking because they want to be on camera. But when we are thinking, we're actually going through all of these possibilities in our heads, not because we want to be on camera and look cool with our shades on, but we're actually thinking about all these possibilities. You know, we're replaying all of these hands because sometimes what happens is that the hands or the possibilities that we give them doesn't make sense. The hands, like when I narrow down on the hand, I'm like, this doesn't make sense. So then I have to redo the entire process. I have to give him a range pre-flop again. I have to break it down and look at all the other possibilities, all the other hands that he can possibly take this line with or take these actions with, and then accordingly come to a decision, which is what takes a few more minutes because the hand doesn't make sense to me. You know, the hand is just not making sense to me. So I redo the entire thing. And then a lot of times when the hand doesn't make sense, and you call down with a hand that can beat all of these, it's called a bluff catcher. That's how you start catching bluffs in the long run, okay? Because now the person's hand is not making sense. He would not do this with certain kind of hands. It's simple, you know? And we'll teach you all those techniques, okay? And you have to do this on the turn and river, and you keep narrowing down, okay? Now, guys, before I show you how we narrow down on that similar hand, we're going to be running a contest. We're going to be running a contest wherein you guys have to basically take a picture or a post or do anything and just post it on Instagram for us and tag Poker Bootcamp in that. All right. Just tag Poker Bootcamp and share it on your Instagram or Facebook, wherever. And I'll be giving away 1% to lucky winners. All right. I'm going to be playing a lot of tournaments today right after this webinar where the total prize pool is about 3 crore plus. I might even just stream it. You know, I might even just stream it. So we will be giving away one lucky winner. I'll give away some of my winnings. I'm already running a competition, so I'm going to be giving away more of my winnings. And all you guys have to do is take a picture, tag us on your stories in either Facebook or make a post. Do something. Just put it out there on social, and I'll give away 1% further. Also, Tanay has just put out a Discord group, guys, for all of y'all. Join that group because we are creating a community there of learning. Okay, so we have a free learning section as well. And then we do a separate paid learning for all our students, which you guys don't have access to, which you guys can get into right after this. Okay, so join our Discord group. We have a ton of free learning content there. We do a lot of healthy discussions. If you guys have doubts, don't have doubts, if it falls in the free learning category, we will be ready to help you. So don't worry about it. And then if you come into the paid category, obviously you'll have access to way more information. Okay, guys. What pick, Sachin? Take any pick of just what's happening in the webinar and just say Poker Bootcamp, tag us and just post on your stories and just follow us on Instagram or Facebook. Okay, and I'll be giving away 1% more. I'm already running a contest. So potentially we could probably be making about 20-30 lakhs today. And 10% of that would probably be like 3 lakhs. Good money. You know, like, so if you win a couple of tournaments today, we could probably make about 30-40 lakhs easy. I'm going to be playing some big ones tonight. where the first place in one of the tournaments is around $80,000. So that's 56 lakhs straight up, straight up. And yeah, so just all you guys have to do is just share this on social. Just take a picture of the webinar that's going on, share it on social, join us on Discord, all right? And we'll talk a lot about lot of strategies there. Cool. Now let me run you through a hand. Let me run you through the ace queen hand that we discussed initially. All right? Are you guys here? Just and I'm going to show you the step-by-step process. Give me a yes and I will start. Give me a Y or a yes and I will start quickly. Give me a Y, yes, I will start. All right, cool. Join our Discord group, guys. I see many Ys by PY. Join our Discord group and we will sort this out. Cool. So the way I'm thinking about the hand, okay, is this. I raise under the gun with ace queen off, pretty standard raise. I have a good strong hand, top 5%. And the button calls, okay? Now, when the button calls in poker, obviously everybody knows button has the best position. So I'm going to be giving him I'm going to be giving him a wide range, okay? I'm going to be giving him hands like pocket deuces all the way up to pocket nines or pocket tens, because I assume that he's going to be three betting with a hand like kings or jacks. And I'm not going to be giving him aces and queens because I hold one ace and one queen. So the chances of him having aces and queens reduces, okay? So I'm going to not give him aces and queens as often. Again, as often. I'm not saying it's zero, but as often. Okay, I don't think he's capable of just trapping me with aces and queens. So I'm going to be thinking his hand here looks like a lot of pairs from deuces to tens or nines. And his hand looks like a lot of ace 5 suited, ace 7 suited, basically suited aces. I'm going to give him all the suited aces. Obviously, he can't have a suited heart because I have the ace of hearts. So all the diamonds, all the clubs, and all the spades. Okay, all the suited spades are in his range. And suited connectors, I would say he's the kind of guy to have like 8, 9, 7, 8, 6, 7, all suited combinations of those. 9, 10, 10 jack, king, queen, king, jack, king, 10, all those hands. Okay. So he has a really, really wide range on that spot. Tanay, do you want to run this in Flopzilla?
Yeah, we can do this. You need to share your screen. Let me share my screen.
I'm going to show you without a tool as to how I'm going to do it. And then what happens is when we get stuck in a hand, we go back to the tool to see if you were right or wrong. Okay. And we will be teaching you some tools as well. So anyway, so this is my thinking so far. Okay. So I've given him a wide range. I'm giving him a range like 8, 9, 9, 10, 10 jack, king, queen, king 10, jack 9 suited, jack 8 suited, 5, 7 suited. All these hands are there in his range. Okay. Now let's look at this. Now when the flop comes out ace 7, 5, out of all these hands that I gave him, what hand? And I bet. Okay. When the flop comes out ace 7, 5 and I bet. Sorry guys, I'll have to replay that. Yeah. Look at this, okay? Now when the flop comes out ace 7, 5 and I bet and he calls, out of the entire range, now I'll show you the process of elimination. I've given him all suited combinations of ace, right? Ace, diamond draws. So unlikely he has some diamond draws because the ace of diamonds is on the flop. I said he has all diamond suited aces. So that means ace deuce suited, ace 3 suited, ace 4 suited. So unlikely he has any diamonds here. Okay. PY, we'll get to the c-bet sizing. All of that we'll teach you in the bootcamp. Don't worry about it. We're just showing you hand reading right now. Okay. Now, I did say he has hands like 5, 7, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10 jack. So those hands hit this flop. But when he calls here, I can start eliminating hands like king jack, king 10, king queen, jack 9, jack 10. Those hands I start eliminating. Okay. And I think he continues on this flop with just hands like ace 5, pocket 5s, pocket 7s. Any other ace that he has in his range, which he could definitely have, like ace deuce, ace 3, ace 4, ace 9, ace 10, ace jack. And I would say hands like 6, 8, 3, 4 are all there in his range, even on this flop. Okay. The rest of the hands I'm going to be eliminating. Okay. Now when the turn comes, 6. Now that's a good card for him when I start thinking of range, because all the hands that he continues with, like 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, sorry, 8, 9, 3, 4, that 6 basically hits him pretty hard. Okay. Because all the hands that I've given him hits him pretty hard. Even hands like ace 5, ace 6, ace 7, which I still given him, I've given him that range. That hits him pretty hard. So I don't particularly like that hand, to be honest, that turn card, to be honest. Okay. However, in this situation, we've decided to bet. If you ask me, I would check a lot of times. I would bet. Oh, sorry, we checked here. There you go. It's a good check a lot of times. Now, when he still calls, he definitely has hands like ace 5, ace 3, ace 4, ace deuce, 5, 6, 5, 7, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, ace 9, ace 10, ace jack. He has all those hands. Okay. He definitely has all those hands. Okay. Now on the river, and I eliminate the rest of the hands that he could possibly have. He can't have pocket kings. He should not have pocket kings more than he can't have pocket kings. He should not have pocket kings, pocket tens. He should not have pocket tens. Once in a while he'll show up, but he should not ideally have pocket tens. He should not have pocket nines. He can have pocket eights sometimes. I would put pocket eights and pocket nines actually in speculative hands, because he can call the flop sometimes with pocket eights, pocket nines, and then because the turn is a 6, he could have pocket eights, pocket nines sometimes. Okay. But unlikely, but sometimes he could have pocket eights, pocket sixes. Now on the river, let's look at this. When he bets 125, and we've taken all the hands that we've eliminated, and all the hands that are still remaining. Out of all the hands that are still remaining, we've given him hands like ace deuce, ace 3, ace 4, ace 5, ace 6, ace 7, ace 8, ace 9, ace 10, ace jack even. Okay. We've given him hands like 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 3, 4. We've given him all these hands, and we've given him even pocket eights and pocket nines. Okay. Now, if I look at all the hands that I've given him, I'm actually losing to more hands than I'm beating. Okay. Think about this. I'm losing to more hands than I'm beating, because I'm losing to hands like ace 5, ace 6, ace 7, ace 10 even. I'm beating only hands like ace deuce, ace 3, ace 4, ace 8, ace 9, ace jack. Okay. Unlikely he has ace king. I'm beating those hands, but I'm losing to hands like 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8. And I'm beating 7, 8. 8, 9 I'm losing to. And yeah, so when you look at it, it's close. It's one of those spots which is close, because I have enough hands that I'm losing to. And I don't think he's going to be betting a hand like ace deuce or ace 3 or ace 4 on the river, because he has showdown. He's just going to check back. So I'm going to be putting that in his checking range on the river. When he bets the river, I think he's not bluffing here, and he probably has a better hand than ace queen for most part, because I don't think he's going to bet ace 8 on the river, unless he's a really, really good player and he knows what he's doing. Bharat, we didn't really call. We're just showing you a hand. We didn't really call. Okay. Did you guys understand so far? Make sense? Make sense, guys? Just give me a yes. Make sense? This is how we start breaking up hands. Okay. There's so much more that we can teach you. There's so much more. This is just one aspect of it. Imagine. The game is beautiful.
Yes, Kushal, we will share the details of the online course plan after this. It'll be just coming after this. Yeah.
We're going to be sharing the details. So this is just one aspect of hand reading. Now, how we make these adjustments based on player profile, based on stack size, based on position. We have all of that going on. Don't worry, man. We're here to help you. Join our Discord group. But join the course, because the Discord group is just slightly different. It's just for more community building and doubt solving and stuff. But you will not learn this kind of stuff, the technical aspect of it. But we will help you in whatever capacity we can, right? So we have 27 students, paying students at the moment that we run sessions with. We currently have a batch of 13 students. I don't know how many of them are online. If you guys are online, just give us a shout out.
Sai and all Tushar, the boys, Rahul are all online.
You guys are online. Yeah, they've been
Deepak, we called it just for a representation purpose, just to show you this hand, what's going on, and have a discussion over here. Yep.
Okay. So this is just to show you how we construct a hand. And then obviously this is a thought process that we'll develop on every hand, every street. And then this is what makes it fun. So when I talk to a guy about poker, I never talk about bad beats, because that is equity, right? When a guy has aces, and I have pocket kings, and if I hit my king on the river and you lose money, I really don't give a flying fuck, because I still have 4% chance of winning, and that 4% came through, right? Those are equities. What I want to know is what your thought process in a hand was. Why did you shove on the river with aces? Was it a good shove? Was it a bad shove? Do you think your opponent is going to call? Do you think your opponent is going to fold? This is what I like talking about. This is what my strategy is. This is what we discuss as poker players. We don't give a flying rat's ass if your ace king lost to ace queen. We really don't care. Because we've seen it all in terms of equities. Because ace king versus ace queen is going to win 30% of the times. and it's mathematically proven around 30% of the times, which means 3 out of 10 times ace queen is going to win. So I don't care if you lose money with ace king or ace queen. Tell me the time where you put your opponent on a hand and you folded ace queen because you thought he had better, and why did you think he had better? So we focus on stuff like that, okay? And that's what makes poker fun. That's what makes poker fun. So so this is how we do. Anyway, that's a quick insight into how we break down a hand in the PBC formula.
Yes, Piyush, we will be sharing the cost of the bootcamp live and online, and the structure and how we go about it.
We're doing it right away. But before that, we're just going to show you one more camper testimonial from our previous batch, which is he joined us. You can see it for yourself.
My name is Yudhishthir Singh Rathore. I attended the second bootcamp in October 2019. Back then, I had just started playing poker, and I was looking for someone who could coach me. My experience at the bootcamp was an amazing one. I made new friends. I learned a lot about poker, and also got my first score during my stay at the bootcamp. Both Goindi and Tanay, they are great coaches. Their understanding of the game dynamics is simply superb. They make the learning process very simple by guiding you to what to do, how to do, and especially why to do. I'm looking forward for you all to join the Poker Bootcamp family. And as my coaches say, trust the process.
Yeah, thanks.
My name is Yudhishthir Singh.
Thanks, Yuri. So yeah, what we believe in is trusting the process, because we don't care about the outcome. It's all about making the right decision at the right time, and outcome is irrelevant for us, because what comes out on the flop and on the turn, we can't control. We can control our decisions. We can control whether we want to bet, check, or fold, right? Anyway, guys, so a little more details about the...
Hi, guys, I'm Radhika.
So a little more about... Yeah. Okay, what you can expect from the bootcamp is theory, pre-flop strategy, board texture, sizing, how to construct a hand, player profiling. And I can guarantee you, you can ask our campers, this is just in a nutshell. We provide way more value than just what you see. Our campers who are currently online is definitely there. They can definitely vouch for it. That we've been adding way more value than just this. Okay. What we do is we have live gameplays wherein I actually stream. I only stream for the boot campers who are paid, and they can watch me play hand by hand, and I explain my thought process in every single hand before I make before I make an action. Right? I'm explaining what I'm doing and why I'm doing, and this is only for the paid members. This doesn't come for the free members, and that in fact is one of the biggest learning, because you see the application of it. Right? What we also do is we watch a recording of you. And then that's the only way we can understand where you are at, because theory is one thing, but application is another. And we want to integrate the same for both of you, for each one of you. So what we do is we go through your live recordings and we actually script a plan and figure out your mistakes and help you change that. And we're doing that for all our students right now. And they send in their recordings for about an hour that they've played, and we do a breakdown of that. Okay.
We do not do recorded sessions. We do not sell courses with recorded sessions. We take the courses live on Zoom itself. It's either a group session or it can be a one-on-one session based on the topic for the day. Yeah, we give a schedule on Sunday for the whole week, and that's how it works.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Sai is saying live is great. Thank you, Sai. Gaurav, Insta handle at Poker Bootcamp. Okay, Ina. I think he's put the price wrong. It is not $14.99. Sorry about that. But yeah, so so price for 8 sessions, 90 minutes, and I can guarantee you it's not 90. You can ask the current campers. It usually goes to about 100 because the classes get interesting. I thought they would get boring, but they actually get interesting. There you see Tushar helping us, saying it was an eye-opener. So yeah, it depends, man. If the class wants to go on for more than 90 minutes, we actually extend more than 90 minutes, but 90 minutes is what we say. So we're doing it at $29,999. If you book right now, which is offer lasts till tonight, we're doing it at $24,999. Okay, and you can see my Ina would have put my link. So you can basically block your seats by making this payment to either AS Goindi at OKHDFC, or you can basically put it Hina's put out my account number. If you have any doubts, just ping us, or you can ask it right now. And yeah, hopefully today we win some money and we can distribute 10%. You know, that'll be fun if you guys can make like 4-5 lakhs in total, including the charity. That's only if you guys participated in the contest. So yeah, so you guys have any doubts about the course? You guys have any doubts? You get access to recordings if you're a paid member, and we'll do a lot of one-on-one sessions with you, and we'll do a lot of integrated learning and applications for all of y'all. And we're always available. We have Discord groups, we have WhatsApp, we have a very active WhatsApp group as well. It goes crazy. And yeah, do you guys have any doubts on the course? Do you guys have any doubts on the course? You guys have any doubts in the course? How many of y'all are interested in this course? How many of y'all want to get in? How many of y'all want to get better at the game? How many of y'all want to get way better at this game and start making money? So look at this 25K as an investment. Don't look at it as a cost. Okay? Don't look at it as a cost. Trust me, this 25K will make you way more money, right? Way more money in the long run. You know, the stuff that we teach you is gonna stick with you for life. And like I said, you know, it's gonna make you way more money. Okay? Can we give the fees in installments? We don't really do installments at the moment, but Siddharth, we can talk off the table and find out what your challenge is. You can message us. But yeah, so you guys can make the payment and then ping us. You can either write to support, or we'll just know who's made the payment. We can definitely get to you. Just ping us my WhatsApp number. I'm just gonna put up my WhatsApp number, guys. 98458727777. 1 second. Or you can basically...
You can send us email at pokerbootcampindia@gmail.com.
Way out of... UPI is definitely working. AS Goindi at OKHDFC Bank. Sorry, guys. AS Goindi at OKHDFC Bank. All right. Anyone has doubts? When you say way out of your range, I like the way you said it. What is out of your range, PY? Please private message me and we can figure out something, guys. Don't worry about it. We can figure out something. We can do 4 sessions or 5 sessions for slightly lesser. So don't worry about it. And you can send a screenshot of the payment to Poker Bootcamp, or you can message me on WhatsApp. We can figure that out. So who all are interested at the moment? And what do you guys want? Let me know your challenges. Maybe we can figure out something else or a different plan for you guys. Maybe we can figure out a different learning module for you guys, right? But not anytime soon. But right now we're going to be focusing on this particular module. 8 sessions, 90 minutes each, 24,999 if you book today. Okay, 24,999 if you book today. Siddhant says, if we register today, can we attend the next live cam? Yeah, you can. Can I just see who all are interested right now? Just give me a yes. Give me a Y.
Bharat has already sent the payment across, and he's
already got 1 payment. I love it. Give me a Y if you guys are interested. Give me a Y. Give me a Y, and just give me a Y. Cool. Give me a Y. Oh yes. Awesome. I see 10, 15. Great. 10. Vaz has sent a private chat. Give me a Y. Quite informative. I love it. Give me a Y. Okay. Awesome. Cool. So all you guys, what you guys can do is make the payment, send a screenshot to me on my number. I put out my number there, 984587277, and we can get discussing. Also, guys, listen, we are quite flexible. You know, like sometimes if you say 5:30, we can even do 5 o'clock based on everybody's liking. For us, at the end of the day, we want you guys to learn. You know, we just want you guys to learn, and just give us a why. So all you guys that are saying why, just make the payment and send it to us. Send it to us, and we will get back to you regarding how we want to basically go about doing stuff and how we want to basically start. Okay, it's going to be a great journey, guys. And all I'm going to tell you is that you guys are going to be introduced to a whole fucking new world, man. Like a whole fucking new world. And it's as good as going live. You know, when you go underwater and you realize that the underwater world is so different, and you start falling in love with it. Similarly in poker.
I think his screen just froze. I'm not sure what happened out there. Is anyone able to listen to Goindi? Okay, so I think his screen just froze. There might be some connectivity issues from his side. But yeah, I think this is what we have had to discuss and present to you guys. If there's any questions, just shoot out here, or you can shoot out to our Instagram handle, or you can put it out to pokerbootcampindia@gmail.com. How many days this session will be? This is a 8-session plan, so it will be covered in a span of 3 weeks. Siddhant, that way. Yes, please follow the instructions sent by Hina, guys. You can just copy paste these details on your desktop or somewhere. Today's session recording link. Do you guys have live sessions? Right now, we are not hosting live sessions due to the situation lockdown in the country. But once this is over, we will have a live bootcamp also. Yes, we will continue that. So, yep. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining in. For any other details, just post out queries on Instagram or Gmail. Cheers. Just ending this meeting.